Good morning or good afternoon, even. Forgive me. I don't know when. Yeah, good morning. Nice having you on board. Yes, this is a live, and I must say first that I appreciate your time. Okay, and I'm not going to waste your time. We're not doing anything more than an hour, and if really we need to move on, we will. But I'm not going to go past an hour, and I thank you so much for making this happen. Okay, another straight out of the bat comment is today's the 21st. I received a message, and I'm just going to go to the iPhone. I received this message. We hit 900 subscribers today. You can see the December 21st, 2024. We started 5 years ago. And I've shared this with many of you that I really, really, truly in my heart believe that this should either be 9K or 90K. And of course, I'm not putting a cap on what God can do, but we are celebrating 900. And I mentioned a month ago that it would be nice to hit 1K before the end of the year. It's really not up to me. I keep pushing out content. And by God's grace, good content. At least that's the feedback I'm getting. You know, but the world is truly, in my humble view, I don't believe the world is ready for this stuff. They just want to be entertained. And I hate to put, you know, a general brush. And many want to be entertained. And it's so unfortunate. There's nothing wrong with entertainment. There's a place for entertainment, you know, but in equal measure, identify things that are golden, things that are virtuous, priceless. And I believe investing in our kids' safety online is one of those things that we really need to prioritize. And we prioritize this by spending time. The whole remit of this platform is to level up, get the knowledge which we are providing, so that we can be on par with our kids or even overtake them. The idea there is that if you know enough, you can guide them, shade them. And that would do us. I mean, my heart is excited enough, but it will just make me a very, very, very happy man. And I know that many connected to the platform will want that too. So engage, make noise about the channel. Yes, it's 900. Many will even laugh. 900, really? Is celebrating 900? Yes, we are. And one of the things, or several things, are associated with that number. And I need to share that with you. I don't need to, and I don't want to have to come to you, those who are truly connected to this platform, with a basket. Oh, please. Oh, please. Oh, please. Don't want to do that. So the platform should be able to self-fund, take care of itself. That's one. A second, and I believe more importantly, is when we recommend this platform to others, and I had an opportunity to speak to a guy yesterday. When we recommend it to others, it does something that YouTube notices and then places this content before people with similar interests. So that doesn't happen enough until we engage. And part of our engagement is subscription, sharing, and liking. So when you hear everybody saying that, they're not doing it because they're copying. It works. It's guaranteed to work to push traffic in the direction that it needs to go. Okay. So it would be nice to have you. I'm looking at the comments. That's busy already. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, I needed to get this out of the way. Yes, this is an odd way to start the show, but I have started. Okay. All right. So going back to the bigger picture, me, okay. Compliments of the season. There's no way you see that background and not remember God's gift to the world, Christmas. Okay. So compliments of the season. I hope you'll find time in a few days to rest and be with family, especially the kids. Bond with them, start something fresh with them. All right. But it is difficult not to ponder on what I'm about to share with you right now. What if kids under 16 could no longer scroll through Instagram or TikTok? Just imagine that for a while. Or let me add Snapchat. Just imagine it. They can't scroll, they can't do anything. It may be a different experience for you in your home, but just imagine it. Well, if you're there, that's exactly what's happening in Australia. Under 16s are not allowed to scroll through Instagram or TikTok, Snapchat, or any of those platforms. And so while we are gathering, because they've sorted themselves out, we are now asking the question, like you saw in the title, the thumbnail. If Australia have successfully banned social media for kids under 16, what does this mean for families in the West, our part of the world? Could it work for the rest of the world? And that's what we're going to investigate today. So I'm glad that you've come on board. I don't take your time for granted. So if you're just joining, I'm telling you again that I'm not spending more than an hour, which means by 2:58, 59 or 3 o'clock, we're done. All right. So please ask questions in the comments. I'll bring them up. It's interesting. I didn't tell anyone I was doing a Q&A. I just said I was doing it live. And you're here in your numbers. And I'm so glad that you've done that. Okay. So let me give you some context. Australia has made headlines, and it may have been some time ago, but they made headlines with a bold decision to ban children under 16 from using social media. Let me engage the chat. Remember, I said that if we engage, YouTube gets to move this content to people other than ourselves. And that's a good thing, okay? So in the comments, let's engage. In the comments, to see if you are truly good students, what is the age limit? And I put limit, it becomes confusing. At what age are children legally allowed to be on? The word legally there is maybe dodgy, but the guideline. What age must a kid be to have a social media account? Put it in the comments. It will show me how much you know and how much you've taken stock. Thank you, Zachary. I can see you're all congratulating the channel for meeting or getting to the milestone. Yes, amazing news. Congratulations. Thank you so much. Let me put that so that we can see it very well, Zachary. But I appreciate you. No doubt you guys have been you have helped get us to where we are, and I bless God for that. Okay. All right, so what are the numbers? So I'm seeing, let's see, Zachary is saying here in the UK it's 13. Okay, I'm not saying anything. And my my babe, Nora is saying, let's see. Nora says 13 with parental guidance. Yeah. That's a second one. Let's see who else. Let's see. I'll wait for one more. Let's see if it's come through. Okay, well, you are definitely good students. So I'm not going to delay the broadcast, but yes, it is 13, and I love that Nora has added with parental guidance. Even though it is just 13, full stop, I love that we pick up the thing that I normally add. Parents must be involved. You know, if a child is waiting to turn 13 so that they can have or be on social media, there is a problem. If they're waiting, oh, I can't wait to be 13 to use social media. Lots of things to do. Why not wait to start creating something? Can't wait to be 13 so that I can, you know, create something that's not been created. Social media is a tool. I can't announce it more than I've done over the years. It is a tool. It is not a destination. It is not a destination. So Australia's stance really aligns supremely with the ethos of this platform. And I'm hoping that what Australia have done, which is why I'm trying to get us to dialogue, will become the future of online safety. Now, so I suppose you'll be asking, why 16? Why is it, why do they have to get to that age before they can use it? It's clear. It is clear, and I'll show you some things that may align or at least inform you. But it is clear that with research, kids under 16 are not ready. And if it means that a country has to be a nanny state to curb the danger, you know, the risks, the impact, so be it. So be it. And we'll break down the impact of a sort, you know, that sort of ban if we bring it home, or if we share stories or you read stories about what's going on in Australia. I happened to, after I made the announcement that I was doing this, and for those, yeah, I made the announcement we were doing this, and somehow I came across a broadcast discussing what people in the streets were saying about the ban. And of course, you have different people saying different things. The ones that stood out, someone said that the government should not get involved in family affairs. They should not nanny us. You know, they should keep out of our business. That's the family. And then a few other people came up and said, oh, thank God, at last, finally, the government is helping. And some, as you would expect, were on the fence. But I'm sure in my bones, I'm certain that virtue will come out of this. Now, yes, kids, parents, folks, rogues will find a way to circumvent these things. Yeah, they will. But the few who can't are being saved from the damage that binging or being irresponsible on online, on the internet in general, you know, the impact that can have. They will be, you know, protected from those dangers. like I said, I'm going to discuss a lot of the things. But before I do, let me look at the comments again. Let's see. Okay, so this is crucial. I'm gonna put this on because I want us to look at it. And he's said, somehow I wish I had my iPad, but I'm gonna put this on the screen so I can see it. But Jose, thank you for turning up. Just gonna put this over so I can see it. Social media ban can be easily bypassed. Yeah, just like I mentioned. 1, VPN by Joe Blocks bypass. 2, fake age. Excuse me. In the apps, we modern generation are not dumb. Okay, so this is an interesting. He doesn't seem happy, or maybe he's just informing us. Says we modern generation. So you're suggesting that that we are not modern. Well, hey, title to your opinion. We modern generation are not dumb. They want to ban children. No VPN allowed. Plus, sorry, it keeps dropping off. Let me get back because it's interesting. If they want to ban children, no VPN allowed. Plus, give government ID proof. Okay, gonna have to shed light on the last bit. ID proof. Oh, I think I get where you're going, but yes, and honestly, Jose, hope I'm mentioning that or pronouncing that properly, but if I'm not, God bless you, sir, and forgive me. Yes, we know. I've shared the best performing video on this platform, released almost 3-4 years ago, was a video I shared highlighting how to bypass parental controls. My intention with that video, which many suggested was clickbait, absolutely not. I was teaching parents, or at least informing them, that kids can bypass parental controls and all those things. And this is how you can find out some of the easy things that they do to do that. And I shared the video, and many people, which is why I think the video did too well. Many people thought that I was teaching them how to bypass parental controls when it was the opposite. It was just a giggle, but it certainly wasn't clickbait. Okay, so I get Jose's mention that kids will bypass it, and like I mentioned, yes, they will. That's a given, but that's not the point. The point is the people who are sleepwalking into the dangerous areas of the internet, the dangers associated with the internet, will be protected. Because mom, dad, who are still involved in their lives, are upholding the ban. Like I said at the beginning, I'm not sure whether it's a legal thing, but I just know it's official and the government are involved. Yes, no one wants a nanny state. I get that. But this has become so bad in Australia and that part of the world that they don't have a choice. It's like if you know that something is going to help stem or, slow down the damage or the exposure, you're not going to ignore it because you don't want to nanny the state. It's a bit like the lockdowns. I know that's a different discussion. In fact, it's a huge discussion. But in the government's defense, if they need any defense, what else can you do? It's not the best, but it is one of many solutions. And so you do what you feel will work. But we know that it doesn't all work, like we also know that the lockdown was not all that. But ultimately, 1 or 2 people or many more were saved from hazards. Equal measure on the internet, kids are saved if they are not, through their gullibility, if there's a word like that, sleepwalking into danger. And so I applaud Australia. Like I said, anything to protect the child ticks my box. And so, with all the English I've spoken, what impact can this have? Should it have? Will it have on the West? We know that VPNs that Jose mentioned is, VPNs are used to a VPN by design. When you read or get the definition, it's supposed to be a tool to allow you to do certain things. But people are using VPNs now to abuse, excuse me, they're using it to abuse things, or at least avoid paying premiums for consuming, Netflix content and all that. Netflix is the only one that's dropped in my mind, but basically because of geo blocks, like Jose mentioned, you could be in the UK and you have Netflix in the UK. You have a subscription. When you travel and go abroad, let's say you go to America, the Netflix that you're consuming is different. So they have different things on their own platform. For some odd reason, you're not allowed to watch Netflix out there. I don't know. I think they should rethink I'm thinking anyway, as a consumer, they should rethink that. But people who, let's say, are binging on a series here in the UK and they travel and they want to watch, a VPN helps them hide their network information, IP addresses and all that. And so the vendor is not able to determine whether they're in the UK or in the US. And that way they circumvent, the potential charge that they would have paid to consume Netflix in the US, which in many ways sort of falls into the piracy or dodgy area. And I know that that's what Jose is trying to flag. But it's important to know, and it's important to align. We want our kids to grow up and be responsible, citizens. If there's a subscription to pay, you pay. Going round corners and all that is not something we will promote from here. If anything, a VPN should just protect you, full stop. So it's really, really important. Feel free to go and get coffee also whilst we engage, because we still have a few more minutes. Zachary, excuse me. Zachary is left a comment. Let me see what he's saying. Yeah, it's definitely needed. Some adults don't have the specific type of resilience needed to handle social media, let alone children who are still... You couldn't have said it better, bro. Absolutely correct. They need help. We want families, dads, moms, the adults in the home to make sure we're not allowing the kids to be vulnerable. No one needs to preach to you. You know that the internet is a rough territory. It's not for kids. There are places designed for kids to go to, and for some odd reason, they don't want that. They want something bigger. I've been a child also, so I understand the vibe there. And we can't blame the vendors, because you talk about YouTube, it's YouTube's fault. Absolutely not. YouTube have done so many things to help, bring some common sense and decorum on their platform. They even have a very vibrant YouTube Kids platform for kids, where the content, some people will argue some content can be subtly introducing some rubbish, and I get that and I flag it when I see it, but it is a lot better than the YouTube for boys or for men or for women. So keep them away from those. Get them to do something creative, something else that they can do. You can see it, the ticker rolling. There's a lot of information in the tickers that you can consume and, you know, use at will to guide those wonderful, wonderful children of yours, or even those that you know of. Okay. So it's crucial, really crucial, that we don't give up because people are going to circumvent. You don't give up. Like, I know Jose meant well. He was just getting us to think out of the box. But we're not going to slow down getting this information to our kids because some are successfully, you know, avoiding this and going round the corner. All right. So if you're just joining, we're discussing, as you can see on the screen, Australia's ban on social media for kids under 16, and we're wondering if it will work here in the West. You know, of course, Australia, New Zealand, and all those areas are not considered the West. We are in the West, they're in the East, really down there. So it's important that we try and see, because there's so many things. Australia is not a small country. You know, they're huge. And so we pay attention. So what does it mean for families? What does it mean for you and I? And that's what we are going to go into shortly. Okay? If you're just joining, please, we mentioned that liking this content is not just because you like my face, but it helps this information get, well, that's okay. Like my face, it's all right. But more importantly, it gets this content to the right people. And I want you to assist me. At the beginning of the show, you can rewind, not now, but later. We were celebrating 900 subscribers. We're hoping to hit 1,000 before the end of the year. And at the growth pace, that's a big ask. But it can happen because you are involved, okay? And thank you for all those who have been congratulating the channel. You might as well congratulate yourself because you have been a part, all right? Okay, let's see. Where do we go? Where do we go? All right, so I know that many in not just Australia, but all parts of the world don't think that this can work. But this is official. It's official. Okay? So Australia's recent decision to ban children under 16 from using social media is groundbreaking and will have far-reaching implications, especially down here in the West. Down here in the West, digital platforms are integral to digital or youth engagement and culture. All right? So let's look at the potential impact. And at the end, we'll look at lessons that we can learn from Australia's approach. So this has become rudimentary. On this channel, we share 5 points. You think I only have 5, but really the application that I use only allows 5. So what I tend to do is get, you know, put them all in so that it will fit the 5. And I don't have to do too much work. All right, so let's look at the 5. So we're discussing now the impact that this will have on families, especially families in the West. Okay, really, really important that we look at that. Okay, the first that you can see there is influence on policy. Influence on policy. In case you didn't know, Australia is the first country to implement such a strict law. And yes, it's a law. You know, we say that if America sneezes, the world says bless you, or the world pays attention. Australia is the first country to implement this law, signaling to us in the West that stronger government intervention in online safety is possible. And ignore the nanny state thing for a little bit, okay? Countries in Europe and North America are grappling with youth mental health crisis linked to social media. This is fact, you know, and they will do well to explore similar measures. Australia's move creates a model. You know, typically the developed create templates for the world to follow. This is a template. So you would know that here in the UK, for example, we shared a video on some of the laws being discussed to keep kids safe. I'm sure they are looking at those templates from Australia to see where there's common ground, there's overlap, and adaptation. So their move, Australia's move, creates a model for stricter oversight and enforcement. So that's our first area. That's the impact this can have on us. It will inform some of the decisions our government will make, are making. So it's crucial. The second, pressure on tech companies. And this is so important. So important. We talked about the government nannying us. The tech companies, what's their story? Social media platforms like Meta, you know, who own Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, TikTok. They don't own TikTok. I'm now talking about another vendor or platform. TikTok, Snapchat. This Australian thing has done something in that world. They face, talking about the vendors now, they face new responsibilities. The moment to verify user age or face severe fines. I know that Jose, who I was hoping will still be engaging, the government are holding them to account. It's slow, really slow, but they are being held to account. And in Australia, for example, Aussie dollars, 49.5 million are the sort of figures we're looking at that companies who ignore their responsibilities will face as a fine. And all this to protect kids. I just feel like hugging Australia. It keeps it in the news because this is a wow moment. It sets a precedent that global tech giants must pay attention. It must adapt to varying national regulations. And if they don't, their profits and operational practices will be impacted. And of course, that same impact will come down this area, you know, the West. So the precedents that giants like Facebook, the only ones who I'm caring to talk about, they have to do something. They must adapt. And you don't just wait till it's rolled out in the UK or in America before you plan. So they've woken up because they know it's coming. It is coming. So tech companies are under a lot of pressure to start putting things in place because they know this is likely coming. Okay? Looking at the comments again. All right, let's look at the third point. Youth mental health awareness. You know, there was a time when I hear the word mental health, it used to do my head in because I just thought it was a buzz that people were falling back on when they couldn't explain a thing. How wrong I was. Mental health is a thing, and especially youth mental health. There's a lot of sad things happening in homes, and it's one of the things that really inspires me to go on, even though there's very little motivation. But I go on because if it saves one, I'll be happy. We don't need to shake the basket to understand why Australia have gone this way. They're reading the facts. And if you as a parent are not informed, what hope do the children have? Parents are deciding not to get too involved with the care and concern they ought to have for their kids in that space. I've shared it time without number. The internet, social media is our kids' playground. They don't care for the things we old folks cared about. They care very little about those things. And so all the action is on social media, is online. And so we must welcome this. Anything that, because the same way we were, when you, my time anyway, you want to go ride a bike. I didn't fish, but what other things did we do as old folks? Ride a bike, play tennis, ping pong, we called it, Ludo, but just, you're outdoors. If your parents knew that there was danger on the road or in the area you were going to, they will not allow you go. If they know, they'll hold you back. And so we are too responsible as parents to know this danger that exists via this tool, the internet, and we just blindly allow them go out. Parents are doing that. And because they're doing it and the damage is growing, or the things that we're hearing, the impact is growing, they've stepped in. By there, I mean the government have stepped in. If you're not going to help yourself or help these kids, we're going to help you. So the ban that we are, discussing, it highlights the growing global concern over the harmful effects of social media on children's mental health. And that includes depression, anxiety, exposure to inappropriate content. And we here in the West, we're increasingly recognizing that digital well-being is a critical component of childhood development. Let me not exhaust it. You must warm up to how I'm feeling about youth mental health. So I'll leave that alone. Let's look at number 4. Parenting and family dynamics. What does that mean? The law reinforces the parents in managing their children online, what they're exposed to, what they're engaged in. That's what this law is really seeking to do. But here in the West, we feel emboldened to restrict or closely monitor our children's social media use. And of course, that will foster healthy family dynamics and reduce the reliance on things like digital babysitting. Don't know whether you know that's a thing. You've got to get involved. That's a given. But what this does, what this ban does, it reinforces our roles as parents. It gives us, not saying it gives you license to start being mean to the children. No, but it gives you a platform to start a discussion, a canvas to support what you're doing. It emboldens you. So when you say you're monitoring the children, when you say your child that I'm going to install this, it's for your good, you can mention the ban. That the government want the same thing. And so it should foster, a healthier family dynamic. And certainly, I mentioned digital babysitting. That's basically your child wants your company, and rightly so. And you, because you're too busy, most times, doing good things, less so, or in some cases more so, doing things that are not needy. And so you just throw your iPad at them, go. You've not checked whether the iPad is up to date, whether it has malware protection, whether there's any safety to protect against viewing inappropriate content, the restrictions that we discuss. None of that. You just give them the laptop or the tablet or even a phone, and they're now being digitally baby watched. That's digital babysitting, basically. Using tech to get them out of the room. And you know that we promote that you have to engage these kids. Engage them to the place where they will be comfortable to come and tell you when the gotchas happen online. Mom, come and see you. Very important, So feel emboldened rather than focus on the negatives of monitoring or overreach. If the overreach saves a child, tick. Of course, we know that too much intrusion into the family also has its own negatives. We're not ignoring that. We're not children. We know. But at times, whilst we are engaging with our kids, we need a bit of help. That's what the government in Australia are doing. And I warn you, it's coming. All right, let's see. We do have some contributions. Let's see. Okay. Zach, rather than observing this policy as a restriction on children's freedom to use social media, this has provided children freedom from... why did you go away? Sorry, Zach. So rather than observing this policy as a restriction on children's freedom to use social media, this has proven children's freedom from dangers. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Couldn't have been worded any better. And this journey is sweet. Anything that we do to empower parents to protect our kids is sweet. Really sweet. I'm just going to go to the end because I do want to wrap up and see if there are some things that we can discuss as lessons learned. So let's look at the fifth point, and it is cultural resistance. In a way, Joseph's point that I flagged earlier kind of aligns with this, because yes, the culture, people who identify with Jose's sentiments will see or conclude that the government are invading privacy. You know, that if they do this, what's next? In countries like the US, the ban may face strong pushback due to concerns over free speech, parental rights, and government overreach, like I mentioned. But the bottom line, like we're seeing in Australia, they are prioritizing child safety. Yes, it may appear restrictive or difficult to enforce, but they're doing it anyway. We're too slow to do things here. Too slow. It takes a life for many, and again I'm generalizing, for things to move it at some pace. The government have power. Let's use the power. Overreach is a real thing, but the alternatives are worse: to stand by and do nothing. So Australia, don't know what you say when you are happy, but bravo. Bravo. I hope you don't put that on me as a label, but bravo. We applaud you. God bless you. God bless the intention. And I pray that this gets rolled out somehow in countries where this has become a menace, a mess. So what lessons can we learn? What lessons can we learn from what Australia have done? I'll run through this very quickly just to allow us make a few announcements. So one lesson to learn will be prioritizing digital safety. Nations all over the world must balance technological freedom with protecting vulnerable users like the kids. Australia's bold move forces governments to reconsider the passive approach that they've so far put in place and evaluate stricter regulations for children's online safety. A second thing that we can learn from this ban will be the shared responsibility that this promotes. Technical companies, parents, and policymakers must work together to ensure age verification systems are reliable and transparent. Again, to Jose's point, holding platforms accountable for breaches. So a child should not just be able to circumvent, proof of ID. Should not be. We should find ways, and I think in the UK we're discussing this. It shouldn't be easy for a child to be able to do something that only a 16-year-old can do when they're only 13. So we've got to make sure that we're holding these platforms accountable. A third lesson learned item will be tackling the mental health crisis that I mentioned. Western countries must address social media's role in, the deteriorating youth mental health. They do this by fostering healthier habits. And like old folks used to do, encourage offline activities and promote awareness. It's not difficult, really. A fourth thing to learn from this ban will be the global influence. Needless to say, I'm speaking as an African in the UK, okay? About what Australia, a lovely place that I would love to go to one day, are doing. So laws like the one Australia have rolled out has prompted a global discussion, a global conversation about child safety online. And that must put pressure on platforms to introduce more robust controls and policies that apply universally. It's not easy, but we must, get on with it. Let's see, what other lesson can we learn? A fifth that I'll add will be how to adapt to regulations, tech regulations. While I admit that a total ban may not suit every nation, partial measures like limiting screen time, requiring parental approval, or introducing safe zones for youths could be valuable alternatives. What Australia have achieved, the bold stance that they've taken, it raises crucial questions about balancing child safety, digital innovation, and freedom. With the West, I'm promising, you know, when you speak to a millennial, say, I promise you, and I'm promising you that the West is observing. And first, they will pull on or gravitate towards the success of this Australian ban. They'll look for, okay, what has it done? So they'll look for facts, you know, data, churn it, and find what the positives are. Engage with the positives. But as a small YouTube channel, little loss, we're asking also that you look closely at the challenges. You know, it's not going to be easy, but the alternatives are scary, worryingly scary. All right. So we're in a good place. I thought I'll flag this to some of you who have not heard this news. It is good news. And it means that this is coming in one form or another to the West. Beyond the live, please, like you can see on the ticker, what do you think of banning social media for under 16s? What are your thoughts, comments, questions? Put them in the the comments or the chat. Should kids under 16 have access to Instagram, TikTok, and Snapchat? Comments. Engage. Remember that for you attending, or your gift to the Family Cyber Clinic channel is your subscription, your likes, your shares. What all that does is engagement. You pay zero. I appreciate your time because that's priceless. But you pay actual money in monetary terms, zero. So subscribe, protect your kids online. Tips and updates, we share them every week. You know the drill, okay? Just do everything you can to help us achieve the target of 1K before the end of the year. I hear you say, very little time, but it is possible. As you leave here, for example, find out from your friend that you will speak to today, have you subscribed to the Family Cyber Clinic? There's a Q&A we've just done. Please watch it. You'll be excited. This is how we raise awareness. Okay? All right, so some housekeeping. This potentially is our last live show for the year. So there'll be no live show. There may be shorts released if anything comes up, in the horizon, and no doubt we expect it to, because Christmas, many families get clumsy, kids get clumsy, they get a lot more careless, and the rogues are just waiting to pounce. So if we find anything that we see as a red flag that you need to get to know quickly, then we will produce a short and address the issue. In the new year, just to carry you along, we're going to focus on news. It will be a bit like a news channel. Anytime anything comes, we're not going to wait till the week, Monday, Tuesday. No, we'll just release it. And so you may be seeing me from different locations. I could be in the house, could be in the studio, could be in the car. But we're just getting this news to you as we hear it, so that we can think along the same lines, and we're not waiting the whole week when it's now old news. We'll release it. So it will be like a news channel. That could mean that you get information from the channel every day. With no real program. The idea is just to get you informed. And it's not going to be anything too detailed, just bite-sized info. Okay? And we encourage questions. We encourage that you also send out this information. And I think, if I'm not wrong, in fact, I'm not wrong. What I'm just addressing now, I don't think he will mind me saying it. Zach was the one who raised this as a win. And the moment he told me, I said, next live. And thank God that it's a reality today. Okay? So thank him. Like I said, we are all part of the success of this platform. And so don't ever think it's all me. This does not happen without you. All right? So it's curtains for now. Like I said, if you've not subscribed to the channel, check your subscription status. It's so easy. If you click on the Family Cyber Clinic thing that you can see in your YouTube, you will know whether you're subscribed or not. Please don't unsubscribe. Well, you can if you don't like what I do, but I pray you do. But subscribe, make sure you're subscribed. Like this content if you liked the content. That's crucial. And please share with your friends and family. You're going to gather with a lot of people. You have tablets everywhere. Keep your eyes out. Watch after each other, okay? Be concerned about the digital growth of your peers, families, the kids. How's your kid doing? How are the kids doing? Let it not just be, oh, are they doing well in school? Are they doing well in all the other forms, which are equally important? But find out their digital health. How are they doing digitally? Many parents want to speak. Just don't have the courage. But if we ask the questions, we open the door, they will reach. They'll reach out and speak their hearts. Many parents are concerned. I have the opportunity and the privilege to know this for fact. So please join the conversation in the comments. Should kids under 16 have access to all the social media platforms if they're under 16? Make your voice count, okay? I've been your host. I've enjoyed every second. No doubt I'm wishing you, I'm wishing you a beautiful, an awesome time with the family this Christmas. Be safe, be alert, be aware. Until when we speak again with the bite-sized shorts and all that, God bless and goodbye.